Well, I've got a lot to share with you. Reportedly, at least according to the U.S. mainstream media, the shit hit the fan between Israel and Iran. And then we find out that there's a little more to the story and it wasn't as bad as they actually claimed. Well, the mainstream media reportedly jumped the gun. I think there's more to the story. In fact, I'm going to call this sort of a media psyop regarding Israel and Iran. But let me start from the beginning because, of course, like always, the mainstream media lies and they're not telling you the truth. And that's why you're on channels like mine. So I'm just going to tell you my entire assessment of this things. I've written it down on some notes that I have here, but the fact is things aren't adding up. There's more to the story that they're not telling you. And I'm going to be as clear as day regarding what I believe is going on or the potential options of what happened. But let's start first at the very beginning. I'm going to go back. You may know some of this part, but I need it to go forward. For starters, reportedly, Israel attacks a consulate there in Iran. According to Iran, they claim that Israel did that. And Israel claimed that, hey, no. That wasn't a consulate. That was a front for the Quds or the terrorists, it was a front for a terrorist group. And that's why we bombed it. Well, Iran then threatens, we're going to retaliate. We're going to go after Israel and we're going to retaliate. So they send a bunch of drones. I believe the number is 300, but they sent a bunch of drones to Israel, which pretty much was a big nothing burger, so to speak, and Israel shot them out of the sky. There may have been minor injuries. One person either died or was injured. That part I'm unsure of, but it was it's not good. War stuff is never good. But if you're going to do something, I guess that's more of a softball, right? In a way, shape, or form. But not as much damage was done regarding these drones. More damage could have obviously been done. Well, Israel then threatens to retaliate as well. I mean, things are really escalating in the Middle East, and Israel threatens to retaliate. So we find out, I guess, late last night that, according to mainstream media anyway, Israel retaliates, or at least ABC News came out first, and then other outlets started reporting that, well, 3 U.S. unnamed officials, who they're not telling us who they are, came out and claimed that Israel struck an air base or a nuclear facility, if you will, in Isfahan. And footage started coming out of shots ringing out in the sky, and that's some of the fire or the shots that you saw on the video footage. The video footage showed shots in the sky. That's really about it. Well, Iran then threatened to retaliate immediately and say, hey, we're going to take out your nuclear facilities if you start taking out ours. And then almost like clockwork, not long after all those reports came out, and they came out within seconds, if not minutes, of after the shots were fired, mainstream media, it's like they already knew, right? They did, but the story wasn't accurate, right? But anyway, the things changed, right? Suddenly the story changed. And then it started coming out that no, it wasn't missiles that were fired by Israel. No, it was just drones, right? And the Iranians denied that there were missiles. They said, hey, what's going on is not what the mainstream media in America is saying. In fact, our nuclear facilities have not been attacked, and they're just drones in the sky, and we've shot all the drones out of the sky. And so what the mainstream media is telling you in America is just big, fat, fake news. In fact, they started publishing media. And I'm going to throw this up on the screen. This is media out of Iran showing the area. And I'm going to show you the area right here. And just mute his voice because it's not in English. Right. But this is the area that was reportedly bombed. And as you can see, it's complete calm and secure. People are going on with their normal lives. 1 to 2 hours ago, sounds were heard in the sky. We understood several miniature UAVs were heard overhead, which were shot down. So you can see Iran started playing these videos saying, hey, that's not true. Whatever they said in America it's fake news, right? So Iran is really downplaying this attack. So if that's the case, and Israel is even kind of like, hey, I don't know what the U.S. is talking about, but either way, my question is, why is the U.S. media blowing this out of proportion and sharing fake news as if some missiles were sent and attacked their bases or their nuclear facilities? I mean, this leaves a lot of questions. And again, I think this is a media psyop, but why did the mainstream media, and this is key here, in unison, basically as one big blob unit, we had, I believe it was ABC first, and then the rest of them within seconds all started reporting within minutes of the attack. First of all, how did they know what was going on and reporting this attack within minutes? How did they know? They had to be tipped off, right? In some way, shape, or form. Somebody told them. But at the same time, they made this big, bold statement that wasn't even true. So here's the thing. And I kind of thought about this in detail, right? Most people in America, not you guys, because we're about the 5% of people who actually follow the news, listen to the news, and not the fake news, but alternative media people like me, like myself. You guys listen to what I have to say because you've been listening to me for years, and other good media personnel, not you guys. I'm talking about outside of that 5% of people outside of us. Well, they just read the headlines. So what they woke up to and read was Israel got attacked. Or Israel attacked Iran, Israel attacked Iran with missiles and attacked their nuclear facilities. And so this headline is what everybody read, and a lot of people were reading by these mainstream media news outlets. So they're not getting the full story, but they start to form an opinion of what's going on based off the title. So you can see if for whatever reason, Israel's downplaying this too a little bit, but if for whatever reason Israel were to attack again in the future, they would really look like a bad guy because the average American person would be like, didn't you already attack? I mean, what the hell is going on here, right? So again, a lot of this doesn't add up. But here's the thing. I'm not necessarily convinced that this was the full attack by Israel on Iran, because just an hour, I think it was an hour or so before the reported drones were sent to the area, because they weren't missiles, they were drones, right, taken out of the sky. But before that attack, Israel was literally talking about attacking Iran after their Passover holiday, not before that. And that was within an hour. And then bang, we had this. This could have been some kind of test or trial by Israel, but I don't know, right? That's what I don't know. But outside of that, a lot of people are saying, well, this is just an effort to de-escalate. Here's my 4 cents, right? I've got 4 things that I believe it could be, and I'm going to let you decide what you think it is. And the reason that I want to do this is because I think you all of you are very smart people, and people can look at it different ways. But I'm going to give you what I think, which one of these it could potentially be. Number one, and I haven't heard anyone speaking on some of this. Number one, it could be that Israel and Biden are no longer in real discussions. We know Netanyahu and Biden do not get along. They don't like each other. So I think maybe it could have been, this is an option, right? That Israel cut Biden out of the loop. He said, hey, I'm not telling you anything anymore. We're done. I'm going to do what we need to do. And that's it. So Biden could have reacted and jumped the gun and got the mainstream media up. Here's the attack we talked about. It's going. And really jumped the gun, leading to the fake news about missiles being fired on their bases when that's not what happened. So maybe it was the Biden administration pretending that they had the details when they really didn't. Now that's just one. Maybe, number two, maybe Israel, and this is the second thing it could be, maybe Israel wanted to test the Biden administration. Maybe Netanyahu and Israel are fed up with what's been going on with the U.S. After all, we gave Iran a bunch of money, but we'll get into that on another occasion. But anyway, maybe they wanted to test his faithfulness, so they gave him a heads up about the attack to see what he would do. And maybe he failed that entire test assessment to the Biden administration, seeing that the mainstream media came out within seconds with a story of what happened regarding missiles when that's not what happened. So maybe Netanyahu told Biden, we're going to fire missiles. He reported that within seconds in the mainstream media as a test to Biden, which Biden failed, obviously, because that's not actually what happened. It was drones that were sent, and they were literally shot out of the sky. A softball attempt on Israel's side as well. That's the second thing that it could be. The third thing that could be happening is, well, it could be an actual de-escalation of the entire thing. Maybe they're really trying to de-escalate it, and Biden said, we're going to make you look like big, and, we're going to make it look like this was a a retaliation, because again, most people just read the headline, right? We're going to make it look like a retaliation from Israel, even though it was a softball, and we're just going to de-escalate this whole thing, which is where some people are landing. And then there's a fourth thing, and this one's interesting as well. It could be that Israel wanted Iran to drop their guard. Hey, here's a softball. You can act like that's the attack, and then we'll attack later. It could be that they actually do intend to attack, say, after Passover. And maybe that's the case. Maybe there's another real retaliation strike coming later, because the truth of the matter is they've been at war for a very wink and a nod war against terrorism, but there's been trouble in the region for a long time. And at some point there is going to unfortunately be war. We know Bible prophecy does talk about that. But I think in the end, we just have to wait and see what happens. But those are four separate things that I think it could be. But either way, the media played right into it. They're a big psyop. And then after all, a lot of people in our media are former intelligence officials from DHS, DOJ, CIA, FBI, and they're all in league with the Biden administration. Anyhow, I wanted to share all of that with you because in light of war and in light of what's going on, I think that we all have to pay attention, because the mainstream media is not our friend. The mainstream media is not for the people, by the people, helping the people. They have, in fact, become a big propaganda mouthpiece for whatever the Democrats and radical leftists want them to say. They can't be trusted. That's why news outlets like mine are so important today. Unlike news outlets like mine are of utmost importance. That's why they're trying to shut us down and shut us down completely. And which is why I want to encourage you, by the way. I know I kind of talked this whole thing, but go to restrictedrepublic.com if you want to be in the know. Sign up there. We talk about conspiracy theories that are not conspiracy theories. We talk about the stuff that the mainstream media refuses, and we tell you the truth. So use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. But go to restrictedrepublic.com and check that out today. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning into the broadcast. Can't wait to hear your comments. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.